I think I was a little bit nervous about how to sort of bring it up to people. I guess you sort of just realise that you often are the only one. I think it does make us unique, which is a nice thing, and it's a good conversation starter sometimes.
Did you feel like they didn't ask you, but as soon as you mentioned it, they were like, had questions?
Yeah. I've noticed that if I bring it up and refer to it, then that gives them the space to feel that they can be comfortable to ask things. I think uni was great for just building confidence around my hand as well.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Offhand, the podcast from Reach Charity, where we share real, honest conversations about life with an upper limb difference. I'm Megan Bacon-Evans. I'm the social media manager for Reach. I have a limb difference called Handy, and I'm also a content creator. In this episode, we're talking about a huge milestone, starting university, living independently and meeting new people for the first time in new environments. And today, I'm really pleased to be joined by Lottie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Can you please start off and give us a little introduction about who you are?
Yeah, I'm Lottie. I'm 24 and I was part of Reach as a child. My mum and dad got me involved sort of as soon as I was born, really. But then sort of didn't do as much as a child and going into being a teenager. But recently came across the presenting and social media workshop, so got more involved since then.
Well, it's really great to have you back. We have found that quite a lot, that some Reach children drop off throughout the teenager year, and now we're really glad to have you guys coming back to us. And obviously today we're talking about your experience at uni and life with an upper limb difference. Were you born with your upper limb difference?
Yeah, so I've had it, ever since I was born. We don't really know what caused it. The doctors didn't know when I was born. I think it was just sort of just happened, just one of those things.
It's interesting you say that, because actually on an episode with Leah about surgery, to talk about the fact that the doctors never knew what to really call her limb difference. Did they know what yours was when you were born or now? Or? No,
not at all. So it didn't show up on the scan.
Okay.
So it was a total surprise to my mum and dad when I was born. In fact, my dad actually passed out.
No.
Yeah. So my poor mum had done all the hard work.
Joking.
And she was just so relieved that it was all done. And then my dad was at the receiving end and saw my hand pretty much straight away. And he said that in a split second, he just sort of worried about what it might mean. So he went a bit faint and took the attention off poor mum.
Yeah, no, she's like, come on now.
Yeah, I've done the work. But yeah, I think it was a surprise, obviously.
A little bit, seems like it.
And I can imagine if, you have a baby and you just want them to be okay, and you must be worried about how they might do as a child and as an adult. So I can imagine all those things might just suddenly play through your mind. But yeah, the doctors didn't really know what it was. But interestingly, they pointed my mum and dad straight to Reach, actually. Pretty much as soon as I was born, the midwife knew about Reach and sort of said this would be a good charity to meet other parents in a similar situation and get to know other people, hear people's experiences. So that was really great, that although they didn't necessarily know why it had happened or what had caused it, that they could already point my parents in the right direction for sort of a bit of support. And I thought that was really good.
That is really good, because we still even struggled now for people to know about us, for midwives to know about us. And we actually do have a nurse liaison project where this midwife is essentially, she's got a mission to go and train a lot of midwives to educate them about limb differences so they can be aware about them, and also pinpoint them to us, and that hopefully, to help parents in those situations where hopefully, you might not get in there so quick with your dad, but to, ease their worries, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's really important. And especially for the first few months when they're sort of navigating being parents is a challenge in itself, but then navigating it with a limb difference and how you sort of go about it. I think it's really great to be able to speak to other people in a similar situation.
Yeah, and did you attend any events as a child? Reach events, I mean.
We didn't go to any events as far as I'm aware, but through Reach, we got in contact with sort of other people in similar situations. And when I was at school, actually, they were really, really chuffed that Reach had helped me get a recorder.
Oh, yes.
Which was so great. And I just remember being really chuffed that I could still join in with the lessons, because I thought I wouldn't be able to at all. So that was one of the main things that my parents really got out of reach.
Yeah, I'm sure they loved having the recorder at home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So they were so grateful for reach.
Yeah.
But no, that meant you could still do it, which is great.
Exactly.
And I think that, helping people with the recorder still going around today. I don't know what everyone's obsession is with a recorder, but there we go.
They pick that. Yeah. I mean, I didn't make it much better for them that I then went on to learn the cornet, which is like a little trumpet.
Amazing.
So I went from one very loud instrument to another very loud instrument. But
I mean, I'm trying to think what that is. Is that one-handed?
Yeah. So at school, I really struggled because I couldn't really play the guitar or the piano because you need more fingers for that, sadly. But my granddad actually suggested looking into brass instruments because, there's 3 valves and you sort of can do the valves with this hand. And as long as I could sort of grip a little bit onto the other side of the cornet, it was fine. So, yeah, that was really nice to find an instrument that I could
good.
actually
I didn't
do.
have that skill. I didn't have that. No. I had some weird, my mum didn't know about reach, so I didn't get like a recorder. I got some weird instrument instead, and I don't think it was any better or maybe even worse than a recorder, but that didn't go down that. But I mean, nowadays they have a lot of prosthetics, like Koala do ones that have like they're called picks for guitars, like on the end.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool that stuff that now exists, I think is readily available. You never know, you could pick it up now.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Yeah.
I would love to play guitar.
Yeah,
But
and there's like a few one-handed pianists.
Yeah, I have seen some videos. I think I should have maybe just been a bit more brave and tried it. But it was great to find an instrument that I could do. And the recorder from Reach was such a help. And it was quite cool being the only one in the class with a wooden one. It was a bit exciting.
What are theirs made out of? Is it not wood?
I don't know. Like a plastic?
Down a weird hole here, but I'm like, my brain, I'm like, recorders are wood,
materials.
sorry, side note.
Yeah, I don't know actually, but mine was very special. It was wood and it had like gold sort of tiddly bits. Yeah.
And then did you give it back?
I did, yes. Yeah.
Wonder if the same recorder is like going around to everyone. I'd be intrigued to know.
I hope not with all my saliva on it. But if it is, it's
still going.
so great.
No,
the legacy continues.
Yes. The legacy recorder. Love that. So you didn't attend like Reach Activity Week as a teenager?
I didn't know, which is really actually a shame because, I remember always getting the magazine and I was always really excited to sort of look in that every time it came. And I always got a birthday card from Reach, which was lovely. But I don't really know why we didn't. I think, it would have been a really great thing to get involved with, but better late than never. It's nice.
Oh, exactly. It's great to have you here. Exactly. Yeah.
For
those who are listening, like the Reach Activity Week is for those who are aged 10 to 17, and it's what it says. It's an activity week, but they're all children with limb differences, and they have mentors who are adults with limb differences, and kind of a time where everyone come together and learn from one another. And it's still going. It's like going on for like 26 years now.
That's amazing.
So there's another one happening in summer this year. So if anyone's listening and wants their child to get involved, then please do get in touch.
Great. Yeah, and it's such a nice opportunity for kids to just be with other kids that look like them.
Exactly.
You could be the only. I was the only child in my school with a limb difference, so it's nice to meet other people in the same boat and realise you're not the only one.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, on that note, when you were starting university, were you worried about being the only one with a limb difference? Did it cross your mind? Were you just like, woo, want to go to uni? What were you thinking?
To be honest, I can't say it crossed my mind about being the only one. I guess you sort of just sort of realise that you often are the only one, but it hasn't ever really worried me or bothered me. I think it does make us unique, which is a nice thing, and it's a good conversation starter sometimes. But I think I was a little bit nervous about how to sort of bring it up to people or if I would need to bring it up to people. I think Gemma touched on that in the dating episode, sort of whether you should disclose your limb difference or just go with the flow. I was a bit nervous about that. And it didn't help that I started uni in COVID. So actually, you didn't even really get to meet anyone anyway. So to be fair, that meant I didn't need to worry about disclosing it because there was no one to disclose it to.
No, so you guys didn't have Zoom meetings or anything where you get to meet one another?
We had. So I started uni in September 2020, so we'd done the first lockdown and things were starting to spring up again. Like it was Eat Out to Help Out, all of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my first year, I was just sat doing lectures online in my halls room, which was a bit sad, but it meant that I was always in my halls, so I got to know my flatmates really well.
Okay.
So I think in that respect, that was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, such a weird way to start uni on top of like the normal nerves. Yeah.
What about when you moved into your flat then? How did that go with meeting your new flatmates? And did it ever come up? Did they ever ask you anything? Or
Yeah, so I started and I lived in a flat with 4 other girls. And I remember sort of the first few days, I didn't bring it up. I sort of just was done normal, I guess. Not that normal is really like...
Yeah, whatever normal is in inverted commas,
yeah. But I think I talk quite a lot with my hands, so they definitely saw it. But they didn't ask anything, and it didn't really come up in conversation, which I think that happens quite a lot in situations that I'm in, that I don't really address it as soon as I meet somebody, and normally people don't ask. It's normally once I've sort of got comfortable and got to know them a little bit better, I then test the waters a little bit and throw in a joke or like refer to it with a bit of humour, just to show that like I'm fine with it and it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. And yeah, then that sort of opens up a conversation normally. So yeah, I remember with my flatmates that I can't remember what the joke was, but I must have made some kind of joke. And then that started a conversation, and I just kind of explained that I was born with it and they wanted to know how it affects me in day-to-day life, stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Did you feel like they didn't ask you, but as soon as you mentioned it, they were like, had questions?
Yeah, which is normally how it goes. But I think that's really nice because, I don't know, I think with anything that's different about someone, people probably notice it quite quickly. But I think being adults and also being British, I feel like we're all a bit sort of, we skirt around things a little bit and we don't want to offend anyone or anything. So yeah, I think I've noticed that if I bring it up and refer to it, then that gives them the space to feel that they can be comfortable to ask things. And yeah, then it often starts a really nice conversation and they can, ask all sorts of different questions. So yeah, that's kind of how I went about it, but not really intentionally. It just kind of happened like that. Yeah.
And did you all get on really well in the flat? And
yeah, it was lovely. I made one really, really close friend. I still see her all the time now. And yeah, I think actually being at uni in COVID brought us closer together because if you didn't get on with your flatmates, you didn't really have anyone else to get on with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. And thankfully the world started to open up as we progressed. So yeah, things got a bit more normal. Yeah.
Did you feel any difference, like when the world was opening up, like going out and about again, like having a limb difference all of a sudden, like did it make more of a big impact on you or not, if that makes sense?
Yeah, probably a little bit. I think, but I mean, lockdown was actually strangely nice in some ways to just sort of be in your own little bubble a little bit and not really be out that much. So yeah, I think then I was sort of starting to meet people in person that I'd only met on Zoom, like classmates and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that was a little bit nerve-wracking. But everyone's so lovely and, we're just like, it's just sort of a normal thing. And again, similarly, it was never really addressed. And when it did come up, it normally came up because I made a joke about it or I needed help with something and just sort of said, I don't have any fingers. Please may you help me.
That's pretty good. You asked for help.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably asked you, do you need a hand at some point?
Yeah, that is a great one. And I always could do with another hand. So it is a fun one to break the ice. But yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah. So it sounds like you kind of handle it a lot with humour.
Definitely.
Which helps. But I think for me, like, I think until recently I haven't been able to do that for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just not very funny. No,
I disagree.
I'm hilarious.
You are.
But until recently if someone said, do you need a hand? I'd be like, I do actually. But I think before I've been like, no, I'm fine. And I would normally say no to any help.
Right, okay.
And I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, so I can't quite fully remember all my uni days and what I was feeling when I joined and things like that. But I do remember my housemates being helpful in doing certain tasks and household tasks, but equally also me feeling a little bit frustrated. For example, I remember the the bin was like overflowing, and it was too heavy to the point I couldn't lift it out the bin bag. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it gets to the point where you're like, I can't physically do this, but like no one else was doing it, so it was like annoying me because I was like, can someone please take out the bin? Like, but then you also kind of get out bin duty, which is great.
That is great because that is a pretty manky one to have to do. Did you find that like living independently for the first time that there were things that you did find difficult to do?
I think my mum equipped me with some things such as cooking equipment, like something that would like chop onions up really fine. That's electronic can opener, things like that. So I could do a lot of my things independently, I think. So I think other than that, I didn't find too much difficulty, and I can't remember if anyone like would ever help me make a bed if I did it myself. I don't have a very good memory. But how about you?
Yeah, similar things actually. I think my mum and dad have always been amazing in just encouraging me to do things my own way. So I sort of felt equipped before going to uni that I would probably encounter things that would be more difficult to do that I'd probably taken for granted that my parents did for me all the time. But that I would always just find my own way around it. But yeah, like chopping, I always struggle with. But recently I got one of those like box things where you just put the onion in it and smash the lid down. They're incredible.
I haven't used one of those.
Yeah, I've only discovered it like in the last year, and they save so much time because I would always have like an awkward thing of couldn't quite get my hand around it, so it would always wobble around, which is a bit of a knife hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I can recommend the smashy box thing.
It reminds me also, I used to have a bagel cutter that's like a guillotine almost, like you put it in it and it just like goes down and cut a bagel in half. That's pretty good. That would
have been good for me because that was a fateful day when I cut into my little blob, I call them. I was cutting a bagel, and I think, you know where the hole is in the bagel? I'd sort of slid my blobs in there to prop it up, and the knife just went right through down and cut one of the blobs open.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was not nice.
Wow.
But I only realised when I saw the blood sort of emerging from the bagel.
So you didn't
I don't want to be too
feel it?
Graphic. No, not really, no. I don't think I have as many nerve endings. I don't know what the scientific thing is, but yeah, that was an interesting one.
Was it that time that you realised you didn't have as many nerve endings?
Yeah, exactly. And it was at that time I realised I could have done with a bagel guillotine cutter thing.
Could have saved yourself
that would have saved me a nasty scar. But,
oh no. Oh my God, did you have to go to hospital for that one?
No, thankfully not. I just put a big plaster around it.
And just hope for the best.
So yeah,
you're like, where's all this red blood coming from? How strange.
It was
it's
really
me.
weird. Yeah. But that was the first time I'd sort of ever injured one of the blobs, so to speak. So yeah, I've realised that I didn't have as much feeling as I thought I did.
Exactly. So that's also interesting that you refer to them as blobs. Do you have a name for your hand?
I actually don't. When I listened to your podcast with Gemma and you call it Handy and she calls hers Stumpy, is it? Yeah. I thought I'm really missing a trick here. Yeah. I just call them little blobs, but for the hand as a whole, I actually don't have one. So
blobby?
Blobby, yes. Okay, I'm going to adopt that. I like that. But yeah, I've been missing out on that.
Yeah. It's fun. I find that a lot of people do name their limb difference. And I think it might also come from parents often because maybe a way to talk about it is to have like an alternative name. Potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, how was that the name? I don't know. It just
you
was
don't know
what it was.
how it came up.
Yeah, it's like a whole personality handy. Like.
Yeah, but that definitely must help to sort of, make it more make it more personal to you.
Yeah, and I think working at Reach, what I've found, I think when people would tag us or mention it would be stump, little arm, little hand, what else was there? Paw. Little paw.
I've not heard that one before.
Yeah, that was quite cute. I'm not sure. Yeah, if you have any others, maybe write in, let us know.
Yeah. Come up with some good ones. There's some great material you can get out.
Definitely.
And everyone's looks different as well. So there's so much to go at.
Yeah. So thinking back to your experience at uni then, so you find that there wasn't really any difficulties that you really encountered other than cutting your finger, or your blob, sorry. Was there anything else that you went through?
Not particularly. I think, I was really lucky that sort of in terms of social aspect, like everyone was just really lovely, really helpful. I mean, I do sort of struggle with more like hands-on tasks. Like I worked actually in my uni holidays, I worked as a waitress.
Wow.
And I actually always remember thinking that was a job I wouldn't be able to do because I thought, well, how am I going to carry like, you know how some waitresses, they can balance like 5 plates down one arm or something. I thought, well, I'm never going to be able to do that. But that was a really good challenge to sort of find my own way around, doing things. So I always just went with a tray instead.
Okay.
Instead of the plate balancing act.
You never know. The juggling act.
Yeah.
That's so true. You do see that. I always thought that as well. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But actually with Handy, it actually goes back really flat. I think I'd actually make a very good waitress.
You would. That is a really flat surface. You could balance a lot of things on that.
Ta-da! But no, I never trusted myself with that, and I'll probably stop it anyway.
A bit scary. But yeah, so that was a good one for sort of realizing that I could do things I thought I couldn't be able to do. And then it sort of, I think uni was great for just building confidence around my hand as well. I mean, I am really blessed that I have always been quite confident about it, which is 100% down to my parents. They've always sort of just said, oh, well, just find your own way around it, and never made me feel like there were things that I couldn't do, or tried to be helpful and then done things. And because I can imagine maybe in trying to be helpful, you could end up actually doing more things for your child, which could make them feel like they can't do as many things. So yeah, they always just said, just find your own way around it, which I think equipped me really well. But yeah, definitely just sort of grew in confidence at uni. I studied languages, so I got to do a year abroad, which was really cool.
Where'd you go?
So I did 6 months in Germany and 6 months in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
And when I was in Germany, I taught English in a primary school.
Oh, wow. How did that go?
Yeah, I loved it. It was brilliant. But that was like a huge thing for my confidence, because obviously kids are so inquisitive. And then also German kids are very direct. So yeah, having to navigate explaining my limb difference to children is obviously one thing in itself, but then explaining it in another language. That was quite a big thing for building my confidence. Because, kids just want to ask questions, don't they? So I'd be teaching the lesson and they'd go, well, what happened to your fingers? So yeah, that was kind of, a learning curve to sort of navigate that. But I think all those kind of experiences just help you grow as a person and build your confidence, which is definitely a really good thing.
Amazing. For anyone listening who's about to start uni, or maybe their child's about to start uni and they're a bit nervous, any advice you'd have?
Yeah, I'd say it sounds really cliche, but just be yourself and don't worry about having to sort of make other people feel comfortable, or just do what makes you feel comfortable. And if that is hiding your limb difference and that does make you feel more comfortable, then I would say, do that if that's what helps. But I've always just found that people are just so lovely, and that actually, if you're sort of just open and honest, and that's received really well. And also everyone at uni is sort of navigating a new scenario, living by yourself, meeting new people. So there's probably other people who are equally nervous or anxious about totally other things. So yeah, just be confident and honest, and just be yourself, and you'll definitely meet people that are loving and lovely, and accept you for who you are.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Yeah, thinking back to my uni experience, everyone was lovely.
Yeah, that's really good.
Can't remember anything really negative.
No.
Which is obviously nice. I'm trying to wrap my brain, but
that's a great thing.
Have them. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely.
And thank you for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Reach Charity UK. And please do give us a rating wherever you get your podcasts, and join us again for the next episode of Offhand.